A solution is prepared by mixing 25 grams of water and 25 grams of ethanol. Determine the mole fraction of each substance. So next, our topic is all about mole fraction. So this is our formula. XA is equal to NA is over NA plus NB. Then our second formula is we have XB is equals to NB over NA plus NB. So later on, we will determine kung saan natin kinukuha yung NA at saka yung NB. So our question is a solution is prepared. So by mixing 25 grams of water and 25 grams of ethanol. So we're going to get the mole fraction of each substance. So which means we're going to get the mole fraction of water and the mole fraction of ethanol. But first, we're going to identify the given. So 25 grams of water, and also we have 25 grams of ethanol. So, when we are solving for the mole fraction, dili agad nato na makuha ang mole fraction without following the procedure. So, in order for us na makuha nato ang mole fraction, first, we're going to get the molar mass of each substance. So, first, determine the molar mass. So I know that you're already familiar what is molar mass because I already taught you this last semester. So first we have the water. So since water is H2O, so our hydrogen is 2 atom and our oxygen is 1. So the molar mass of our hydrogen is 1 while our oxygen is 16. So you already know, so in order to get the molar mass of each element, so kailangan jud nga naa may periodic table of elements or Google it on or Google or i-search para makuha ninyo ang molar mass. Kay that last time nagpalit di ba mo, so basing nawala na to, so you can ano na lang browse ang periodic table or sample a periodic table sa Google. So 2 times 1 is 2 and 1 times 16 is 16. So, i-add natin yung dalawa to get the molar mass of the substance. So, we have 18 grams per mole. So, our unit for molar mass is grams per mole. So, meron na tayong molar mass. Since naana tayong molar mass sa atong water, so next is to get the molar mass also of our ethanol. So, H and O. So, those are the elements na present sa ethanol na substance. So, our carbon is 2 atom while our hydrogen is 6 and our oxygen is 1. So, multiply by their molar mass. So, a carbon is 12, hydrogen is 1, and our oxygen is 16. So, going to multiply 2 times 12, 24. 6 times 1, 6, and 1 times 16 is 16. So, add the 3 substance. So, we have now our molar mass of ethanol. So, 24, 16, and 6 is equals to 46 grams per mole. So, next, we're going to determine the mole of each substance. So, second steps na ta or step. So determine the moles. So we're going to get the moles of water and also the mole of ethanol. So first we're going to get the mole of water. So H2O (25 grams). So, since 25 grams is given sa ato ang problem. So, 25 grams multiply to 1 mole over 18 grams. So, if you're asking kung asa nako nakuha ang 18 grams per mole, dito na siya sa iyahang molar mass. So, we're going to cancel out the grams so that mabilin ang ato ang mole. So, 25 divided to 18 is equals to 1.39. 1.39 moles. So, we have now our mole for water. So, next, we're going to determine the mole of ethanol. So, C2H5OH. So, the given for ethanol is also 25 grams. 25 grams multiply to 1 mole over 46 grams. So, 46 grams is also the molar mass of our ethanol. So, cancel out our grams. So, 25 divided to 46 is equals to 0.54 mole. So, we have now our mole for each substance. So, since naa naman tayo mole for our each substance, we can now continue to get the mole fraction of our solution. So, the last part is we're going not to get or determine the mole fraction of each substance. So, this is the last steps. So, first, the water, H2O. So, 1.39 mole over 1.39 mole plus 0.54 mole is equals to 1.39 over, so i-add na to ang 1.39 ug ang 0.54. So, it is equivalent to 1.93. So, we can now get the mole fraction of water. So, 1.39 divided to 1.93, it is equals to 0.72. So, naa na tay mole fraction of the water. So, if you're asking, asa nakuha ang 1.39 and the 0.54? So, 1.39 is the mole of water, while 0.54 is the mole of ethanol. So, naa naman tayo water. So, we can now continue for the ethanol. So, C2H5OH. So, first, we're going to write the mole of the ethanol. So, 0.54 mole over 1.39 mole plus 0.54 mole. So, 0.54 over 1.93. So, same gihapon, is just that ang pagka-arrangement. So, 0.54 divided to 1.93, it is equivalent to 0.39. So, this is now the mole fraction of ethanol. So, the mole fraction of water is 0.72, while the mole fraction of ethanol is equivalent to 0.39. 100 mole of sodium chloride is dissolved into 100 grams of pure water. What is the mole fraction of sodium chloride? So, for our second example, we're going to determine the mole fraction of the NaCl. So, always remember, before we undergone or before nato maabot ang mole fraction, first we're going to determine the molar mass. So, the molar mass of water and the molar mass of NaCl. HO. So, 2 atoms which is present for water, and we have 1. So, 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 16 is 16. So, add the 2. So, we have now the 18 grams per mole. So always remember that the unit of the molar mass is grams per mole. So we have now the molar mass of water. So next, molar mass of sodium chloride. So for sodium, we have 23. And for chlorine, we have 35. So multiply, then add. So 23 plus 35 is equals to 58. So 58 grams per mole. So we have now our molar mass for the two substances. So next steps is determine the moles. So since NaCl is already has a mole which is 0.100, so ang atuan na lang pangitaon is the mole of the water. So 100 grams over or divided to 1 mole over 18 grams. So, cancel out ang grams para mabilin ang mole. So, 100 divided to 18 is equivalent to 5.56 mole. So, naana tayo mole for our water and also for our NaCl. So, we can now solve for our mole of fraction. So, since ang ginapangita diri is the mole fraction lang of the sodium chloride. So, NaCl 0.100 mole over 5.56 mole plus 0.100 mole. So 0.100 mole over, so kung pila ang add sa 5.56 and the 0.100, so 5.56 plus 0.100. So it is equivalent to 5.66 mole. So 0.100 divided to 5.660 mole is equivalent to 0.018. So we have now our mole fraction for NaCl. Calculate the molal concentration of solution that contains 18 grams of sodium hydroxide in 100 ml of water. Aside from percent by mass and percent by volume and also mole fraction, we have also the molality and the molarity. So the difference lang between molality and molarity is that molality is a mass of solvent while molarity is a volume of solution. So when we are using molality, we are going to use the unit kilogram in terms of the mass of solvent. But if we're going to get the molarities, we're going to use the unit liter for the volume of solution. So just like this example. So we're going to calculate the molal concentration. So we have the given, we have 18 grams of sodium hydroxide in 100 ml of water. So as we all know that water is a universal solvent, so that's why most of the given problem we always use water in order to make a solution. So first, we're going to determine the molar mass of the sodium hydroxide. So, molar mass of sodium hydroxide. So, Na, oxygen, and hydrogen. So, 1, 1, 1. So, the molar mass of sodium is 23, while the molar mass of oxygen is 16. And the molar mass of hydrogen is 1. So, multiply, then add. So, 23 plus 16 plus 1 is equivalent to 40 grams per mole. So, that is now our molar mass of sodium hydroxide. Then, second, determine the mole of sodium hydroxide. So, since mole of hydroxide is not yet given, so kailangan nato siya kuhaon. So, mole of NaOH, pwede ding mole NaOH is equivalent to 18 grams over, or pwede ding gamitin natin ang times 1 mole over 40 grams of sodium hydroxide. So, we're going to cancel out the grams. So, ang mabili na lang is the mole. So, 18 grams divided to 40 is equivalent to 0.45 mole. So, naana tayo mole of our sodium hydroxide. So, we can now get the molality of our given or our problem. But since, as we all know, that kapag molarity or molality ang ginapangita, ang grams or ang isa ka given must be or must convert into kilogram. So, we have, diba, since our given is 100 grams. So, we need to convert 100 grams into kilogram. So, 1 kilogram over 1,000 grams. So, we're going to cancel out the grams so that mabilin ang kilogram. So, 100 divided to 1,000 is equivalent to 0.1 kilogram. So, we have now our mass of solvent in a kilogram. So, we can now determine our molarity. So, we can now determine our molality, So, molality is equals to mole of NaOH over mass of water. So, mole is 0.45 over 1.01 kilogram. So, the answer is, so 0.45 divided to 1 or 0.1 kilogram is equivalent to 4.45 molality. 4.5 m. So, we have now our molal concentration of a sodium hydroxide of a solution. Determine the molar concentration of a solution that contains 25 grams of potassium hydroxide in 250 ml of solution. So, next example is we're going to determine the molar concentration of a solution that contains QOH or potassium hydroxide in 250 ml of solution. So, just like getting the molality, magsa-start din tayo sa molar mass. Tapos, next is the moles. Tapos, after that, pwede na nato ma-solve ato ang molality or molarity. So, always good. Same lang sila og process ang molarity og molality. Ang kaibahan lang is ang unit. So, pag ang unit gani nga given is dili kilogram or dili liter, kailangan pa ninyo siya i-convert. So, first, determine the molar mass. So, KOH. So, potassium, we have 39. Oxygen, we have 16. And hydrogen, we have 1. So, always whole number para we have the same answer. So, 39, 16, and 1. So, 39 plus 16 plus 1 is equivalent to 56 grams per mole. So, we have now our molar mass for KOH. So, next one is we're going to determine the mole of a substance. So, $25 grams. Since 25 grams is given, over or divided to 1 mole over 56 grams. So, we can now cancel out the grams para mabilin ang mole. So, 25 divided to 56 is equivalent to 0.45 mole. So, our mole for this substance is already available. So, since our given is ml man, so kailangan na to i-convert into liter. So, convert ml to liter. So, our given is 250 ml divided to 1 liter over 1,000 ml. So, we can now cancel out ml para ang mabilin kasi liter. So, 250 divided to 1,000 is we have 0.25 liter. So, na-convert na nato, na-natay mass and also na-natay volume for molarity. So, we can now solve for the molarity. So, molarity is equals to 0.45 mole over 0.25 liter. So, 0.45 divided to 0.25 liter is equivalent to 1.79 mole per liter. Pero, pwede natin gamitin ang molarity. So, we have or 1.79 m. So, in terms sa unit, kay ibahan ni molarity o ni molality. So, pag molality gani ang pangitaon, small m ang pwede gamiton na unit. Pero, pag molarity, can use big M. So, mo na siya. If we're going to use the unit. So, para dili na ta mag mole per liter or mole per kilogram. Direksyon na lang ta using the big M and the small m. In order, or kung ang pangitaon is the molarity and molality. So, I hope you understand something from my discussion today. Good day and God bless.